Good evening, everybody, and welcome to round 18 edition of NRL Supercoach Off the Bench TLT. We'll go through the teams and have a quick look at the trade trends and maybe discuss our trades if we've worked them out yet now that the teams are out. Tonight I'm joined by Brad. Welcome, Brad.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Good evening, Roscoe. How's things, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. Obviously TLT hasn't really sort of thrown too much into the works, but we'll go through it anyway and go through the changes for the teams and we'll talk about each. We'll just have a quick chat about each game after we go through the changes. So, yeah, quick one. All right, so Sharks Dragons are first. For the Sharks, no changes to their round 16 side coming off the bye last week for the Dragons. Moses Sully is out injured, replaced by Tauto Moga. Jack Bird's out, replaced by BMM, and Couchman and Hunt join the interchange bench. What do you think of this one, Brad? Does this smell of Nico Hines' great captaincy or what?
Oh man, I mean that's going to be one of the super coaches' biggest, all the coaches out there, their biggest consideration this week. You're going to easily have a great 17 on the paddock, but do you captain him straight out to get your strongest 17 happening? I'll tell you what, in this game, the St. George really intrigues me. Tautu Mulga. Fucking hell, he's got a huge. I think he's got a big break even there, doesn't he, or a very low break even?
He does, and he's had a couple of decent scores, but he can't crack the team. He's only. If he was permanently in the team, I think he'd go okay. He's had a couple of decent scores for them this season. Pretty sure he has.
Well, he's in the team now because Sully's been dropped, it seems. So, yeah, Sully's out and Tautu Mulga's in.
Yeah. And Jack Bird, another one out. He's been ultra inconsistent this year, hasn't he? God, you'd be spewing if you picked him up in Supercoach.
Oh, look, he's had a very disappointing year. I think it's indicative of what's happening at the Dragons. But he certainly looked like he'd had too many McDonald's cheeseburgers last week, the poor old fella. So
I still own him in Dream Team, and I can't wait to kick his ass out of my team. I've held him all these weeks, and I played him on the weekend over Olaquadu. So Bird got a 27, Olaquadu pumped out about a 60. So, yeah. But anyway, oh well, it is what it is. All right, next game, Warriors versus South for the Warriors. Just the one change. Nikure's out suspended, so Josh Curran comes into the starting side. Mitch Barnett comes onto the bench. For South, Jacob Host is out suspended. Cheekham comes into the starting side. Jed Cartwright and Peter Mamlosty, or however you want to pronounce it, drop out, and Suvali Havili and Chuck Mitchell join the interchange bench. So what? Obviously we did the pod on Sunday. Anyone you're pretty keen on for this game now at all, or?
No, I think coaches should have a good look at Richie Kennar if you want a downgrade option somewhere there for South Sydney. He looks pretty good. As we know, both these teams play the round 19 tricky bye. So either, they've got so many great players, Fanua Blake and, Tahu's been going a bit how you going lately. I'll probably stick clear of him. Sean Johnson, we all know how good he is. Cody Walker coming off a back of a shocker.
What do you reckon about? What do you think about Tohu Harris's? And I don't know if you own him, but I do. I'm definitely going to obviously hold him for 19. But for me, he's the sell after that.
I do own him at the moment, and unless I see some improvement, I'm a bit like you. Exactly, he'll go in the minute the bye's over. He'll actually make way for Deefy. I've got the cash, and so that was my plan all along. However, I'd like to see some good scores out of him first, just to boost up the cash a bit.
Yeah, I want the same because I want to trade him to Tino. That's my plan. Because I've still got Deefy. I haven't sold him, so he's the one that I'll be targeting. So hopefully he doesn't drop too much cash.
No, very good.
All right, next game, Storm and the Panthers. So for the Storm, Cam Munster comes back into the side. Jonah Pezzett drops out. Tui Kamika and Kane Bradley join in the change bench. Tyron Wishart drops to the reserves. For the Panthers, they get all their origin players back. So Salmon reverts back to the bench. And Peachy Hoskins, Eisenhuth, and Jenkins all drop out. Anything on this game, Brad, at all?
If you've got Zach Hosking, if you still got him, you should sell. Right, that's quite clear.
Yeah.
I know there are a few people, and were you one? Were you one that had the peach? Who
I
had the
got the
peach?
peach, mate, and I'm pretty happy. He's maybe like 60K this week too, so I'll be moving him on this week.
Yep.
He's at 560 now, so he's made me over 300K. So happy days. 300K and some decent scores out of it too. So I'm not complaining, but yeah, he's a definitely move on now. I think so. Not sure who to, but we'll worry about that when it comes. I have no idea what I'm doing my trades at the moment because it's all gonna hinge down as what happens with Reece Walsh because if he gets suspended for more than a week, he's gone out of my team. Even though I only just got him this week, he'll be going to Drinky. So we'll see what happens.
Big Nelson back on an edge again.
Yep.
That's pretty enticing, isn't it?
Yeah, he's, as I said, he's not one for me, but I don't hate anyone who's looking for a pod option.
Yep.
Don't think he's the worst. Obviously, they don't play around 19, though. That's the only thing. So it really depends if you need the numbers for 19 or if you're just focusing on head to head.
Yep. Yep.
For the Raiders and Titans, the next game for the Raiders, Josh Papali's out injured. Solo comes in the starting side, and Mariota joins in the change bench. For the Titans, just the one change. Tino comes back in after last week's rest. Joffel drops back to the bench, and Tino's brother Isaac drops out. I know you were pretty keen on Brian Kelly. Is a bit of a pod for this one, bro?
I do like Brian Kelly. I but he is expensive, so you're up at the premium end of the centres. So but he does play the next lot of buys.
Yeah, they don't have any more buys now, which is obviously handy if you're looking for someone who's just going to play the whole way through.
Yep. No, absolutely.
Anyone else in this game?
Now look, Canberra are just very difficult. I mean, I love their forwards. I have the horse, and I'd say that the horse will stay in my team for the rest of the year. Joey Tapine is at a nice price for those that are looking for around. I think he's just under 600 now. He's been going up and down, sort of muddling around with his price all year. So he could be an option for those looking to plug a hole at a reasonable price.
That's me. I'm potentially looking at going peachy to either Tarpany or even up to horse if I've got enough cash to do that. So,
yeah.
So I'm pretty much set for around 19. I don't really need any more numbers for that one. So I think I'm already sitting at 14, obviously depending on origin.
Like I said, horse would be if you get him now, you got him for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
He's not going to. His minutes haven't been overly affected. Sticky's pretty consistent there with his minutes, which is rare for him. But he is going to cost you. He's about 700 odd. So
yeah, that's what I'm worried about. I've got 250K in the bank, but do I want to put it all out on the table on one trade? That's the thing. So whereas I can go to Tarpany for a lot cheaper, but I just think the horse has got more upside than what Tarpany's got. That's the only thing. So anyway, we'll move to the next game. So Cowboys versus the Tigers. Cowboys no changes to the team from last week. Talamalolo is named on the extended bench. For the Tigers, Dane Laurie replaces staff with Toa at 5'8", Toa moves back to the centres, and Nasa Capella drops back to the bench. A few options for this one, you reckon, Brad? I reckon, obviously, for those who, have got the numbers for 19 or are focusing on head-to-head, I think both Frinky and Val are probably good options for this game.
Yeah, well, I own Drinky, so I'll definitely probably have the captaincy on him, I got to say. The poor old Tigers here, with Dane Laurie moving to 5'8" and Wakeham, he probably got two of the smallest half pairings I've seen running around in the comp. There's not a lot of size there, so I reckon they're going to be dead set targets the whole game. Yep. And watch for Drinky coming up the inside. Yeah, it's just it looks a scary game for the Tigers, I must say. But good on him for giving Dane Laurie a go. He does have some fantastic hands on him, and he's very, very quick at times. Yeah. So if the Cowboys forwards get a little bit lazy, and they can, he will take advantage of that around the ruck area. You bet my bottom dollar.
I bet you're licking your lips with this matchup with Drinky. I'm sure you are.
Oh, look, it's well, he's my captain, so
What's your what are your thoughts on Nanai too? Because he's another one that's an interesting option too. He's dropping nicely in price. He's down to 530K now, Brad, with a break even of 11.
wow. Well, I haven't really looked at him, but so that's very interesting what you're saying there.
Mm.
Yeah, maybe I need to.
I hadn't even realised he was that cheap. I didn't even realise that, and I just had a quick look. He's dropped 130K this season, so he's dropped a lot of cash.
He relies on attacking stats that
Mm.
much that it's all about the attack.
Yeah,
And I guess this is actually probably, if you're going to get him, this would be the game to bring him in.
yeah.
Because it certainly looks like a game that's going to be suited to a bulk lot of attacking stats,
I'll just mention.
rather than a big lot of
Yeah,
defensive stats. So yeah, he's don't forget you got Tom Malala sitting there in
yeah.
18th man. I would expect him to probably come in for probably I can't pronounce his name.
Not Kenny or whatever his name is.
Finey Ficky.
Tiny Ficky, Bloody Ficky.
Finer Fiku or something, Finey Ficky.
Well, just on that eye, so since he came back from his suspension, he got round 14 against Melbourne, he got an 82, and against round 17 against South, he got an 84.
Yeah.
So he's starting to hit form at the right time after after starting the season at 660K. But
Yeah.
again, it's a mixed draw home: Tigers, Manly, Para, Titans, Broncos, Sharks, Dolphins, and then Penrith to finish. So it is mixed.
Well, I reckon that's about as good a draw as anyone's got. That's pretty decent. I don't mind that. That's
Yeah.
yes, but he is, as I said, he's all about attack. So if you can see in that draw some attacking stats coming his way, then yeah, jump on him definitely.
Yeah.
At that price, I'm now going to go have a look at him.
Made you think now, Brad, eh?
Well, it has made me think, definitely.
All right, next game is Broncos versus the Dolphins. So for the Broncos, Reece Walsh has been named to play pending tonight's judiciary. If he's out, Tristan Saylor will start fullback. Jordan Ricky and Thomas Flegler are both out, and it's looking like Flegler's probably going to miss Origin 3. He was seen walking around in a moon boot. He's been replaced by Keenan Palacia and Xavier Wilson. For the Dolphins, JMK has been named again. God, I hope he plays because I've still held him. Sean O'Sullivan moves back to the halves. Cody Nick Remo reverts back to the change bench. Harrison Graham drops to the reserve, and Tessino replaces Braden McGrady on the wing. What's your thoughts on this one? Dolphins play round 19. Do you think that T4A is still a buy? Still pretty cheap.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I don't think he, at least for the next few rounds, he's going to be going too far. I definitely think he's one to consider. He's, that back line is so juicy. You'd think there's somewhere there that he's going to get a bit of ball, and he does go looking for some ball, which is good. That's good for a centre because he gets to get up those run meters, etc. Over for the Broncos. Probably the interesting ones is Xavier Wilson. If anybody wants a cheap one, he's a good player. This kid, man, he's good. He hasn't got as many opportunities as he should. And he'll probably be a nice enough for you in a couple of weeks' time after Origin's over. So he's a perfect one that you're probably never going to see again much after the next few rounds.
I think the other one we should probably mention too is Pecora too, because he's starting again this week. Obviously, you've got Ricky injured. You've also got Luke Capewell injured too. He's only priced at 289K as well, so he could be an option minus break even at -3 as well, starting on an edge.
That is pretty juicy. I've got to say it there.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good indeed.
Yeah. All right, next game is the Bulldogs versus the Knights. So for the Dogs, Carl Olapotu is gone. Caleb Raja starts at 5'8". Max King starts at prop. Chris Patolo drops out. Harrison Edwards returns from suspension on the bench. And Jackson Tarpany replaces Corey Waddell on the interchange bench. For the Knights, Dane Gagai is out injured, replaced by Inari Tuula and Lachlan Fitzgibbon returns from concussion, replacing Dylan Lucas. Thoughts on this one, Brad? Dogs obviously play 19. Anyone you like from there?
Look, what do I say? Look, tell you honest truth, the Dogs are going to come up against Newcastle with probably their strongest looking team that they've put together all year. The back line looks very settled, and just have a look at those forward line. I mean, that's, Safidi. I know Thompson's not great, but then Frizzell, Fitzgibbon, Elliott, a lot of clubs wouldn't mind that. And they're coming up against Ockenbaugh, Moran and Preston. Moran and Preston are developing players. They're getting there. Yeah. Geez, I've got a lot to like about them. Ockenbaugh, I'm not really sold on. I think he's got a few defensive issues in there, out on the edge. Wow, I think Newcastle could do them here.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's much here to buy for Newcastle, obviously. Either, if you've got Marzu, obviously, there's a good chance he could go massive this game. If you've got Marzu, he could easily turn up this game.
Yeah.
He'll probably just get 50 or 60 in tackle bus, probably this one.
Yeah, looking at that team. I mean,
will he be running up against, that's a good one. Is he going to be running up against the Fox? Is he on the same side? Or is he not?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's up against Alamotti and the Fox. Yep. That should be an interesting matchup there.
Wow. All right, last game. We'll leave the best for last. Manly versus the Roosters. So Manly actually get a few players back. So they get Gerbo, Starb, Parker, Burbo, and Tuolangi back. And Kepi, Harper, Vega, Condon, and Lawton drop out. For the Roosters, Tuali's back from suspension, replacing Junior Pauga. And Angus Crichton and Egan Butcher are both out, replaced by Nathan Brown and Nathan White. And Sissa Wong will make his debut finally off the bench. Thoughts on this one?
Well, that's Sia Wong. Sia Wong he's a fantastic player. I don't know if he caught any of his action in New South Wales Cup, but he certainly deserves his spot. And put him in a little black book for next year. I would recommend.
Yep.
Hopefully, we'll see a bit more of him. I think this is going to be a super, super competitive game. And it wouldn't surprise me if Manly ran over it. The way that the Roosters have been, but the Roosters' back line is certainly pretty settled. But Brad Parker coming back, that's a big in for them.
And so Gerbo too. Gerbo's a massive, and it tightens up that middle too.
It's huge.
Massive.
It's huge. It just tidies up their defence so much.
Yep.
And so does Brad Parker. He's probably one of the best defensive centres running around at the moment.
Such an underrated player too, Parker. He really is. Very underrated player.
Old Hank Scorpio.
Hank.
That's a joke to the Simpsons if no one's seen it. Go look at the character Hank Scorpio in the Simpsons, and the picture of Brad Parker will pop up. It's quite extraordinary.
All right, on the subject of Manly, your thoughts on some of their off-season buys? So obviously they've signed Luke Brook for 4 years. They've signed Tommy Talau in a player swap, and they've also re-signed Josh Schuster at $800K a season to play in the back row. $2.4 million for 3 years. Brad, your thoughts on the signings?
I don't really have a lot of thoughts yet. I am a little concerned that most of those players all have the same manager. And it's also the same manager who manages Seabold, and that is Moses. So I'll let you read into that and my concerns what you will. I'm certainly not going to put anything out there that's somebody says that I'm going to defame them. But yeah, there's something a bit weird there. Yeah, all of them have got the same old manager. Schuster and Brooks have the same manager, and it's the same manager as Seabold. And I wouldn't mind betting that Hayes Perham, who's also coming, has the same manager, but that would be interesting if it was.
That's an interesting one, isn't it? Because where would they play him if they sign him? Surely Garrick stays at fullback while Turbo's out.
Yeah, I have no idea on that one. That's quite a weird signing, particularly with Tuakolotu and is Saab going somewhere? I don't know.
I
So
don't think so. And Cooler just re-signed as well, so he's not going to go anywhere. I'm
we'll
pretty sure they just re-signed him for 3 years.
Yeah, there might be things going on that we don't know or understand as far as signings,
Yeah.
and Parker and Saab might be going off somewhere. I don't know. So we'd have to wait and see. But yeah, it's a bit confusing signing all these backs and not signing any forwards, that's for sure.
Yeah. All right, a quick look at the trade in and trade out. So number one on the list is Josh Schuster. I think we both agree he's a spud and he needs to be moved on. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not urgent. He's only 50 odd.
Yeah.
So he could easily hit that this week. Easily.
Yeah.
If he has an on week. As we've seen, he can go from 20 points one week to 70 the next. It's very confusing. But yeah, he's probably not the most urgent of sells, unless you need the cash and you're downgrading. And then yes, definitely do it.
Number two on the list is Taruba. What's your thoughts on this one? I mean, obviously he didn't score well last week because my man Peachy just loves to hog the ball, but he's not there this week, and they do come up against Melbourne.
A bit like Schuster. He's not an urgent sell. But he does have to go at some point. So if you've got if you're going to go up to a better person, like so if you're bringing in somebody that is better than Taruba, then do it. Absolutely. But he's been very unlucky. I mean, you watch him every week, and he's one of those players you just watch and you're expecting to see 70 or 80 points, and then you look and there's 30 points. You go, Jesus Christ, he's carrying the ball up all the time. He's so involved, and he's just very unlucky that no one passes the ball to him.
Number three on the list is Billy Smith.
So,
number four on the list are Hoskins. I don't think there's nothing to say about that.
Yeah.
Number five is an interesting one, Reece Walsh.
Yeah, I don't know. Why would you sell him before you knew what was happening? I don't get that one. That's a bit confusing indeed.
It's not only that. If he plays this round, he's got Dolphins, Bulldogs, South, Roosters. It's not a bad run, really. Titans, he played last week, and obviously that was, that's all I can say to him, like Reece Walsh. Next one on the list is Buller. Now, this is an interesting one for me because I would have thought if you were going to trade out Buller last week, would have been the round to do it, not this week, being so close to round 19.
100%. Why would you trade him this week? Well, I know he comes up against stiff opposition, but yeah, fullbacks are sometimes fixture proof. You know, they can. He has had a bad run. He did have a bad game last time out, but yeah, it is a bit weird the week before the bye round.
Number seven on the list is Cody Nicarima. I think it's a good trade out. He's back to the bench now. He's made some decent money. Shift him on. Number eight on the list is James Tedesco. Brad, another disappointing one. We shouldn't probably talk about him too much after Timmy decided to trade him in this week for Buller. I think it was 2 out of all players and pumped out a massive 30. Didn't even get his break even.
Look, I'm not unconvinced he's not a buy on the other side of Origin. I'd say I don't. I know Timmy got him in, but I'd be holding. I don't think he's the worst player as a super coach wise. And as you'll see from the article I put up there the other night, the fullback spot is not so cut and dried at the moment. Latrell not being back to 21 or maybe 22, and he's got a buy as well in throwing in there, just a good measure. So you miss him on that week. So Latrell's not so much of a definite, no, I have to get him.
I think the top 2 tier fullbacks are both the ones that who are both off the list now. That's Turbo and Trell.
Yeah. It is a look, I had Reece Walsh penciled in straight after, and that's why that one. It's so funny that people are selling things that I had penciled in as ones to come in. But I had Reece Walsh as my definite. I was actually going to sell Drinky to Walsh the minute that Origin was over. I think Walsh's run home is better than Drinky's, and it's time to there's no more. I don't think Broncos have got any more buys, do they, after Origin? Whereas
No, that's it. Yeah.
where Cowboys have got another one. So yeah, there was. You know,
Yeah.
But everyone's getting off him, and I was thinking about getting on.
Right.
And again, Teddy is value.
Yeah.
You wouldn't sell him at the moment. No value in selling.
No, number 9 on the list is Harrison Edwards. I think that's a good trade out. I mean, he's coming off the bench this week. They do play 19, but no point in hanging on to him for ridiculous minutes. So number 10 is on the list is an interesting one, Brad. Ruben Garrick does not play around 19, but why would you be trading Ruben Garrick out? My presumption is that people are going to probably be going to Mulatalo.
Or Val Holmes.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you got the cash, you'll be going from Garrick to Val. That'd be the only thing that would make sense. You got, at this time of year, if you're going to make trades, you want to be, and this is advice for everyone. Very few trades you're going to be doing downgrades. You're going to be upgrading. You're going to be going to something that is going to be cash positive for you, or points positive. Sorry. Your cash positive stuff just about should have been done, and you're really searching for those good matchups and good points. Val provides that, and probably will provide far more than what Garrick will this week and in the next few weeks as well. Mind you, Garrick going back to fullback, we know he's got Cherry Evans back there again this week.
And they're at home too.
And Jake Turbo, yeah.
They're at home. They're at home against the Roosters. I mean, so number 1 traded out to is Val. Then it's from Mulatalo, CNK, DWZ, and then Drinky and Munster. So the top 10 all pretty much make sense, except for the 29 people who are nothing him out to Jack Howard. The rest of them are to Nakora, Manu, and Harry Grant. Yeah. So not the worst trades, Brad.
No, not the worst trades. Well, the Harry Grant one, I know a lot of people who are very confused and stuck at the hooking position. Traditionally, players like myself, we've always relied upon a strong hooker, or you actually get this time of year going forward with 2 strong hookers. Well, at the moment, there doesn't seem to be any strong hookers that are really a certainty of putting up any good points. I'm hopeful that that's going to turn around towards the back end of the year.
Yeah.
But yeah, you agree with me there. It's been
I think so. I mean, I've got JMK and Sullivan there at the moment. So unless either Cook or Grant start doing something miracle, then I'll just probably hang on to those 2 for the rest of the year, mate. To be honest with you, I mean, JMK, other than missing a couple of games, has probably been close to the best hooker in the comp this year. Yep. So unless he doesn't play this round or something happens, then I'll probably hang on to him, I'd say. So, all right, we'll just quickly zip through the trade-ins. Number 1's Cam Munster. I think we both agree it's a good trade-in, yeah?
Yep.
Number 2's Nakora.
Yep.
Number 3, Mulatalo.
Yep.
Number 4's Fafita.
Yep.
Number 5's Val.
Yep.
Number 6 is enough out in Howard.
Yeah, I suppose so.
For me, it's a bit early to be nothing, but anyway, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of nothing just yet. I think there's way too many buys, and nothing before Origins is just a dangerous thing because of so many outs that can yet happen.
Yeah. Number 7's Dylan Edwards.
Yep.
Number 8's your man Drinky.
Yep.
And then we finish up with Hind and DWZ.
Yeah, they all make sense. I mean, DWZ one, I mean, trading him in now, I would have liked to have got him about 5 weeks ago when he was a hell of a lot cheaper. But he, you're nearly a top dollar there. I actually don't have it in front of me at the moment, but I think you're paying a pretty penny for him.
7.19. But the draw's not bad, Brad. South, Para, Sharks, Canberra, Titans, Tigers, Manly, Dragons, and Dolphins.
Oh, I love it. I love draw, is it? Coming home.
It's not a bad draw, is it?
It's great.
Oh, my God. Wow.
It makes players like AFB, CNK, they're very, but Dull and my mother was a lesbian. I don't know. He's I don't know. I'm bad at pronouncing.
Just say DWZ. It's just fucking easier. Seriously.
He is. I'm just not convinced 700,000 at this point in time in the season. When you really want the likes of your Vals and people like that in your team, should be Yeah, I know they have a good run home, but are you going to finish the year with him? That's if you got a lot of trades, go for your life. Knock yourself out. But
Yeah.
I don't have that many trades to do that.
Well, yeah, I'm the same. I think I've got about 10 or 11 left, or 12 left, but I haven't traded yet this week. So,
Yep.
all right, that's all the trade trends and TLT done this week. Brad, you got any idea on your trade yet, or you like me and still not sure yet?
Oh, look, I was going Munster, Schuster to Munster. It seems obvious. I've got the money, I can do it. But there's a few other options there I want to have a look at and have a bit of a play with. That are actually piquing my interest. And Munster up against the Panthers, he's not going to score through the roof, I don't think.
Yeah.
Panthers do starve their team of Supercoach points. If you want to go back, have a look at how many points the opposition teams have been getting Supercoach wise against the Panthers, and you see what I mean. And Melbourne are pretty much the same. So I think of any game this weekend that's going to be a bit lowish in scoring, that could well be that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, Munster, and then he's not playing the week after. So Munster could well be a trade for me come 21 instead of this week. Probably might make a bit of sense, but I don't know. I do like the Munster trade.
Yeah. All right, well that's it for tonight's pod. Thanks, Brad, for jumping on, and we'll see you guys on Sunday night for the round 18 wrap. And good luck for the round.
Good luck, everyone. Have fun super coaching.
Cheers. Have a good one.